So let's go right into it, and we're gonna break this down between safeties and corners. Let's start with our top 5 corners. We already know who the main names are: the Devin Witherspoons, the Gonzalez, Joey Porter Jr. What is your top 5 list coming out in this draft? And like you alluded to, we already know any of these 5 could start on your team. But talk to me about the top 5 and what kind of separates these guys.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go 5-1, and it's interesting this year. A lot of these guys that are up at the top are really good man cover corners.
Yes.
Which to see this many is rare. Like my entire top 5 are very good press man cover corners. Yep. Number 5 for me, Cam Smith from South Carolina.
Yes.
Very sticky in coverage. He's not the fastest guy, not the most athletic, but you turn on the tape and he's always right on the hip of the receiver, no matter who it is. I don't know how he manages to do it, but he does a phenomenal job. And this is a guy that's probably going to go in the 20s, might slip into the second round, but even at that point, you're getting a guy that's a phenomenal corner, somebody to build your secondary around. Number 4 is probably the biggest riser in the draft for the secondary at the very least. Deonte Banks from Maryland. This is a guy that was late second, early third, somewhere in there, and now you're talking probably in the top 20 picks potentially. This a guy that everything he's done this offseason has raised his draft stock. He was phenomenal at the combine, amazing athlete, moved very well, like flipped his hips extremely well. It was almost a seamless transition side to side. I love what he brings to the table. I got a close look at him when they gave us everything they had earlier this year. And and I think this is a guy that he also plays zone very well. He's got the technique to play zone very well too. So where I kind of start to look at is like you guys at 16, Pittsburgh 17, us 18, all the way to I don't think he makes it past the Giants at 25 if he's still sitting there. So I think it's a pretty small window for him, but I'd say he's a bona fide first round guy. And then the top 3 kind of separate from those 2 for me. Number 3, I got Joey Porter Jr. This is a guy that's probably going to go in that 11 to 20 range. I don't see him making it past Seattle at 20 if he's sitting there. Pairing him with Tariq Woolen, that would be a nasty corner duo.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah.
He's out of the top 5, I'd probably say he's the most raw. Like, there's the most to work on.
Okay.
But he's a guy that when you fix those things, he's arguably the best corner in this class. He's a little too handsy. He'll get quite a few pass interference calls and holding calls early on.
Oh, yeah.
But with a little bit of work on that technique, he'll be absolutely fine. This is a guy I would love for Detroit to get at 18 if he's still on the board, because he might go earlier than that.
Yeah.
Number 2, for me, 1 and 2 is more a 1A, 1B. Because these guys are both. I love both these guys. Number 2, though, I went Devon Witherspoon. He's probably the most pro-ready corner. Very, very good in man coverage. Everything I said about Cam Smith, like sticking to him, all that. Witherspoon does all that and more. What separates him from Cam Smith in that other tier, though, is he is a phenomenal run defender. He'll go up and he'll lay the hammer. He's that thumper in the secondary, which you don't see too often. It kind of reminds me of like a Rod Woodson almost.
Oh yeah, I like that.
And this is a guy where if we take him at 6, I'm very happy. Like this corner in the top 10, you typically like kind of iffy about it. Not with him or my number 1, Christian Gonzalez from Oregon. The difference there, why I have him 1 and Witherspoon 2, is Gonzalez is the athletic freak. Yeah. I think he's 6'2", 6'3", about 200 pounds, ran very well. Just like Banks, moved side to side very well, rotated his hips very well. You don't get to see much tape on him because quarterbacks pretty much avoided him altogether,
throw it. Exactly.
Which is a very good sign. Yeah, I love this cornerback class as a whole. Even my like I said, probably all the way down to 9. I feel confident that they're a starter, one of those top 3 corners on your roster right away. So,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, this is a phenomenal group.
Absolutely, absolutely, and look, I those top 3, it's hard to differ with those top 3 picks,
Yeah.
and I think one of the things that you said that I love about a corner, I need my corner to be big, 6 foot and above. You got Gonzalez, Porter, and Witherspoon all that fit that criteria, and I want them to be around 200 pounds. You know what I mean? I want them to be kind of bigger guys so that when you have to go up against those physical type wide receivers, actually when with Washington in the NFC East, we got to go up against AJ Brown 2 times a year. You know what I mean? When you have to deal with these big type of guys coming at you, you need a bigger corner that can run with him, and you get that in Christian Gonzalez, Devin Witherspoon, and Joey Porter Jr. But they're also tough and can hang with you and play good ball defense. So I love that. I differ at the end, but not too much. Deonte Banks and Cam Smith, much to the chagrin of our guy Will, who loves those guys. Those guys are my 6 and 7. So my 4 and 5. At 4, I got Emmanuel Forbes, and for a while, I wasn't huge on this guy because of just what I mentioned with the other guys, the size. This guy's 166 pounds. This guy's he's a little leaner for me. He's got the speed, he's got the ability, but in the pro day, in the combine, in these last workouts, he's been rising up the board. And you talk about guys that have the elite cover skill. This guy has excellent on-ball cover skill. He has elite speed to run with these guys. And I love what I'm seeing from Forbes. And we talk about these guys, they're going to be potentially after 3, they might be available right around the time we go. Who knows if one of the top 3 will be available at 16. But after 16, if we go back, or if we even trade back, speaking for Washington, Forbes is somebody I'm interested in. And I can't we can't be on this show and not shout out 2 of our close friends that are Georgia boys and talk about their guy Keely Ringo. I mean, another guy with that size, over 6 foot, over 200 pounds, but still lightning quick speed. We all know about the championship game a year ago where he gets the big interception that seals the deal. And look, I was very critical on this guy this year because of the fact that, in my opinion, he did get exposed a little bit, but they were throwing in a lot more on him. We got to remember 2 years ago, they had a historic defense. How many of those guys went in the first round alone from that defense? So they weren't
like
Keely Ringo
4 or 5 guys.
Right. So Keely Ringo wasn't getting that much. He wasn't getting all those balls as much as he was this year. You know what I mean? And it still wasn't that much compared to the rest of the country, but he got attention this year, and we saw he got fair share getting burned or just a lot more attention on him. So when he was under the microscope, obviously you see stuff like that. But I still think that his size translates in the NFL. Obviously, the caliber, him being at Georgia and playing in those top tier games. So I don't think you can go wrong with that. But I mean, Deonte Banks, Cam Smith, they're right there for me. I would not be upset getting either of them. So, I'm good with that for sure. Keely Ringo. Is that a clever name for Skid Rat? Yes, man. Oh. So, and that's the thing about this is that you can stop at this top 5, and obviously they are elite. They're you can't go wrong with that. But like I mentioned, the 2 guys that you had at 4 or 5, I have at 6 and 7. Who is your 6 and 7? And in that, top 9 that you say that, still value, you can get value, high value out of them.
So for me, Keely Ringo is my 6. This is a guy that at the NFL level, I wouldn't be shocked if he transitions to safety at some point. He's got all the tools of a very good, strong safety. He's very good at stopping the run. He'll come up and make tackles. I'd say he's probably a better zone cover guy than a man cover guy, which fits that safety role a bit better. But even as a corner, if you get him in one of those cover 3, cover 4, like more zone schemes, this guy's going to do wonders for you. Yeah. And I agree. Exposed is kind of
extreme.
Yeah.
It's extreme.
It's an exaggeration a bit, but like Anthony and them have said before, the second half of the season, he was pretty much, it was okay, you're on their number 1 guy. Right. And when it was in that SEC conference play still, there were a few times he got burned. Absolutely. Yeah. But then you look at that Ohio State game in the national semifinal. Yeah. He was the one DB that was kind of limiting Marvin Harrison Jr., who was far and away the best receiver last year and going into this year. Right. So there's kind of ups and downs if you watch his tape from this year. But it's a guy I still think is a first-round guy. If you get him in the second round, that's absolutely a steal. And my number 7 is Emmanuel Forbes. So we have the same top 7, just moved around a little bit. Right. Everything you said, I agree with on Forbes. This is where I kind of slide down to the second round. I think he's an early second round guy. But if you got him in the late 20s, it's not wrong. I just think with looking at all the other positions too, he's probably an early day 2 guy. Mm-hmm. Number 8 for me is my guy, DJ Turner. Mm-hmm. He was kind of a third, fourth round guy. And then he ran that 4.27 at the combine, just absolute blazing speed. And Ringo's one to look at, or is kind of interesting to look at, because at the start of the season, he was like a bona fide top 10 pick. Right. And now it's just, he's kind of like late first, early second. Back to Turner, that freakish athleticism that he has, he showed everyone else at the combine. I've seen it for 3 years now. And he locked guys down. We played a lot of man coverage, and there were a lot, and he got targeted heavy just because he was always on the number 1 guy. Mm. And he did a very good job. I like him early to mid second. He'll probably go mid to late second, early third. But again, this is a guy I think could easily start for you. And that's at 8? And 9 for me is Julius Brents from Kansas State. Yeah. I like him a lot. And this was a guy where early in the process, up until like a couple weeks ago, I just saw his name and was just kind of like, yeah, he's like the 9th, 10th corner. So what? And then I started throwing on the tape, and it was just like, okay, this guy can ball. Like he's legit corner, late second, early third, somewhere in there. But again, you're still going to get somebody that's going to compete for a starting spot, in my opinion.
Exactly. And you can't go wrong with it. And I have the same order. And the only reason I put Julius Brents 1 above, and the only reason is because of the size. It's Julius Brents is 6'3", almost 200. And like you said, like once you start watching him, like I think we had mentioned him before, either on this show or another show, and I just hadn't put any time into really watching him. But like you said, once you put the tape on, you're like, ooh, okay. All right, Julius. I see what you're working with, man. I mean, he's an outstanding prospect. You know, the size alone is great for me, but he has the elite athletic ability, and which was definitely demonstrated at the combine. So I like that. And DJ Turner, hey, you've been showing me, and ever since that, I've been watching him and telling, just like, okay, I like this guy. This guy is electric. This guy has speed for days, man. And actually, is corner his only position? Could he also play a little safety, or does it?
I think he could be a very good free safety. He reminds me a lot, bringing it back to another Michigan guy, of a Charles Woodson. Right. A guy that kind of has the versatility to play up top, that kind of one high safety, center fielder, or could play outside on an island. Like, I think he's got the ability to do both.
Yeah, because they used to be thinking somebody that could run sideline to sideline. Just put him right there, like you said, center fielder, and just wherever the ball goes, you just be a ball hawk and get it. So I would definitely love to take a chance on him. I know you sing his praises, and watching his tape is definitely exciting. And that speed is, you cannot go wrong. You can't teach speed. So
Yeah.
I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Let's dive deeper into this. Let's fall down past 10. Obviously, you got, the likes of the Eli Ricks. Will was bringing me on to the guy from Miami, Tyreek Stevenson, 4.5 speed, excellent athlete, ideal size, that type of thing. Deeper down in the list, though, who jumps off the page? Who maybe, or that we don't know about it, you're like, keep an eye on this guy?
For me, and it's a tough one because I keep preaching size, and then this guy's like 5'10",
Right.
so he's way smaller. But he's the nephew of a Hall of Fame running back named LaDainian Tomlinson in Travius Hodges Tomlinson from TCU.
Okay.
Like I said, he's only like 5'10", but he was playing that outside corner and playing it very well. He's got hops, so he'll get up there and contest those jump balls. He's kind of like Porter, where he's a little too handsy. You got to kind of fix that. But a guy you're going to get third, fourth, well, third's maybe a little early even, but like fourth, fifth, sixth round. And a guy that can do some damage for you. I love Hodges Tomlinson, and of course I got a good look at him when they beat us in January. So,
oh, absolutely. There's shout out to our guy Chris, who's on here talking about his guy from Vanderbilt, Jeremy Lucien. Nice size, 6'2", 194 on the 4.7 speed. Hey, we haven't watched that much tape on him. He got a couple good specs, good effort and run support, which is huge. Definitely get his nose up on the ball and good tackler. So let's see if he'll come definitely later on. I know Darrell Luter. I liked him out of South Alabama. With it's a size thing, it's a speed thing. Good change of direction. To work solid out of the press and an off coverage, has ball skills, man. Another one that's going to be a day 3 guy, deeper down in there, but somebody that if you can put in the right scheme, could definitely help your team. Anybody else you like deeper down there in the draft?
I'm gonna pull up. I had a list here, so I'll grab that. Darius Rush from South Carolina. Again, they got 2 good corners. If you're looking for a guy in the slot, Clark Phillips from Utah is very good.
Yes.
The first round talent, but he didn't perform very well at the combine. He's a bit slower. But you turn on the tape and it's undeniable. He's a very good corner. You're probably going to get him in the 3rd round. And one more guy, Mekhi Garner from LSU.
Okay.
He's a guy I really like. It's another late day 2, early day 3 guy. But he's a guy that you work on a few of those smaller things and he could turn into a really good corner for you.
Yeah. I can dig it. Love that size, man. Nice speed. Oh, I like that.